UnregularRadio.com.
We are live at Unregular Radio. It's the Two Hotheads show. Wow. 3 false starts, and every single one of them was awesome.
Everyone got better.
Oh, yeah. It's been a hellish week, but awesome at the same time. Right?
Very true. It has.
This is the world we live in now. We're killing it. Two Hotheads where activism happens. This is Mike Cann, of course. And in the studio is the one and only Casey Hoye, who brings us the news now every week at the top of the beginning of the show.
Yep.
Hello, Casey.
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
We're having fun already, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a barrel of laughs.
And just news and information going around. And we also have Garrett Kirkland sitting here.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Ahoy, a pirate today. And behind the board, you know who's behind the board. Who's behind the board? Rob Kaufman.
Rob Kaufman. The Rob Kaufman.
Hi.
Yeah, he talks from far away.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want
I just didn't want the squeak to...
He doesn't want to take over the show.
No.
He's a monster on radio.
Thank you.
You are. Awkward, but...
Very
true.
talented young gentleman.
Yeah.
Awkward? What do you mean?
Well, you know, when you tell another guy he's like good at something, it can be a little awkward.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, you don't know how they're going to take
Well, I've been waiting my whole life for someone to say it, so I don't really know what to do when it happens.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you are good.
Thanks.
You made him blush.
I love listening to your show. Especially some of the best bits, like that Jay Severin we were talking about.
Oh, my
That
God.
was fun.
I just love that so much.
He just keeps coming back. I love I love, dude, that was like the best part of Jay Severin. If you listen to him, he's so ignorant in so many ways, but like that shit is the best of Jay Severin right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad used to love him.
I bet because he likes that song.
No,
He liked the intro.
that's not why. Because he's racist and old.
Oh, is that why?
Yes.
Yeah. He was. He's so like he's just ridiculous, Severin. He's
Angry old racist.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
opposed to me, angry young racist.
Oh, is that you?
Eh,
You think you're not sure?
I don't know.
Yeah. You examine it.
Joking.
Yeah. But yeah, we're live. Two Hotheads where activism happens. We're having our personal private conversations going on the air. But 617-606-3700 is the phone number. We have a huge show today. Hopefully we'll have talked to Maine State Rep Diane Russell about her Maine legalization bill that she just released and did a big press conference on and got national, international press, friend of our show, and getting more support than ever before. I couldn't believe how many politicians were up there speaking for legalization now and seeing what's going on. State of Maine, it actually could go somewhere.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked to read through all that. I didn't get a chance to catch it live, so...
Amazing. We're also going to talk to Zita, who's working an event that's coming up next week in Boston, the dispensarypermits.com event. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
It's an event to find out if you want to open a dispensary and you want to know the legal blueprints and all that it entails.
Basically what's been done in other states?
Yes.
Okay.
So you need a plan. You need to when you're applying for these permits, just like you would for casinos, you got to have like 100 pages of documents that show who you're going to hire, who's going to be, and especially this because this will be nonprofit for dispensary, who's on the board of directors, how the board of directors is set up.
Yep, disclosure.
Who runs it, who's your management, where you're going to locate, what kind of safety regulations are you going to use,
Yep.
where you're going to get the marijuana. all
Record
that shit.
storage.
Yeah. Who's your accounting firm, all that shit.
Yep.
They'll show you how to do it. So if you want to do that, that's next Saturday. And this gentleman is like a self-taught horticulture expert. I saw a great piece on him on Reason.com, the website. So it's going to be cool to talk to him. He's got a lot of experience.
Yeah, definitely stoked to hear it. The more information, the better.
Yeah. So, and I think from what I hear too is Cheryl Schumann, who's been on the show, is coming to Boston for that event.
Oh.
So we're part of that. Like I'm sponsoring it through mycan.net. This event, they've got me on it, so I'm happy on that too. And I also have some other personal news that we'll get to in the news after you, Casey Hoye.
It leads very nicely out of the news and into other things.
Yeah, we have a lot of news this week.
Yeah, it's jam-packed. We said that last week, but we got it done in like 11 and a half minutes. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what we do. We get right through the headlines and give you a lot of information at once. That's what we do.
Very true.
So what do we have? What are some of the big news stories that happened this week in terms of news, politics, activism?
So exciting things in the works on several levels. Schools got guidelines on transgender students. Officials say they are ready to put rules into place. This is a Travis Anderson joint at the by the Globe. Public school officials said Saturday that they are ready to implement new state guidelines that allow transgender students to use bathrooms and play on sports teams designated to their preferred genders, among other provisions. The State Department of Elementary and Secondary Education released guidelines on Friday allowing a passage of a Massachusetts law that took effect in July, barring discrimination of transgender students in public schools. These are complicated issues, and we need to respect every child, Scott said. We need to ensure that everybody has the right to feel that they have a place, and in that regard, it's absolutely imperative. So, there's that.
I don't know how I feel about those kind of laws. Do we really? What should we? I wish that we didn't even need them, and I wish that things just worked out as adults. Like people make reasoned decisions on how things. Because I do see some protests on the other side, like surprisingly, like Roseanne Barr, right?
Yep.
Loved by gay people.
Yep.
She loves gay people. She's against this stuff. She writes on her Twitter, and she's gotten slammed. And I kind of agree with Roseanne in a certain case, because there could be certain situations where it is really uncomfortable for the other side of this. And maybe it could be justified in some individual instances. You never know. Like, it's just I don't know. I just wish that we had more. We didn't need the government to be. This is the boilerplate.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lawsuit if you don't follow this to the T.
Yep.
Every time.
And the problem that I see coming, not only, like you said, it is setting a precedent, essentially, but the other side of it is, like, we're micromanaging the choices that people are making.
Through the government.
Through the government.
Federal, state government in this case.
But, I mean, it's like, we're basically saying to people, like, okay, like, if you make this choice, like, even if it, like, I mean, a student at the age, like, elementary school, secondary, and high school education, like, I mean, at that point, are those choices really solidified?
I know.
You know what I mean? There is that whole, like, born this way mentality, and people who say that, like, this is the way that I'm born and I am this way, and it's more power to them. But
see, I'm not convinced on any of this stuff, because it's so, like, I've examined it, and it's really hard to make a decision on any of it. Like, honestly, if you say you're born this way or not born this way, either side of it, it's like,
at that age,
can't really
they legally can't make the decision to get that change made.
That's true.
If they made that change, then yes, maybe they should be in the other locker room.
Yeah.
Like, but legally, they can't get that change made at that point. So essentially, by the word of their parents and the word of the student, they're putting them into this situation. So it's really, really, it's a slippery slope.
It is. And I think that, I wish the adults in the education system could just do it with compassion for the kid, and just do what's right for the kid, and figure out what's right with the kid, the family, the parents, the what do we call them? The invested people. I mean, the people that have a stake in that child.
Yeah.
They should have a say and figure it out, whether it's a coach or the math teacher or the
do
bus
it discreetly.
Driver, the principal,
like
the mother, the father.
Discreetly with the involvement of the parties involved.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be something that's just like, this is a transgender child,
why
and
people,
now they are in this situation.
I mean, at the same time, I got to say, like, I understand why when I go to the State House for medical marijuana at the health hearings and some of these other hearings, I see the transgender movement, and I understand why there are so many of them there, and why they are so passionate, and that they are good people, and they have faced, in a lot of cases, a lot of discrimination from the world and society, and, like, I understand that this is their reaction, and this is why that they want to get this shit done.
Yeah.
I kind of, like, support them on this in a lot of respects, but at the same time, it's more example of, like, the answer is always the statism, when the answer really is we need to change society beyond just doing it through government.
Yeah.
When we're doing it through government, that's through force. That's, like, the worst way to change things in a lot of respects. Like, our change should be more culturally, and I think transgender people and gay people have actually done that, and that's one of the reasons why they're able to do this at the State House. So I congratulate them on that, and they should be proud that they have made advances, but I don't know if I like these laws. I don't, in a lot of respects.
Well, I mean, the other side of the coin is with state-funded schools, you come up with the ideas of insurance, and if you're not going to discriminate against transgendered adult persons, you cannot discriminate against transgendered children. So from an insurance standpoint, there has to be some kind of bylaw or law in place in order for them to blanket that with liability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think so.
So, it's the slippery slope. It's a victory for transgendered legislation, but I don't know if it's a victory for the kids.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's go to the next story. That was a good conversation.
So, next story, RFK Jr. Daryl Hannah among 48 arrested at the KXL protest.
Oh boy!
And this was
Kennedy gets arrested for something good, supposedly.
Yeah, right.
I still don't believe that. I guess I'll go be the skeptic on this one.
Right. So this was February 13th. It's a little bit dated, but it ties into somebody who I believe might be coming in later on in the show.
Diane Russell.
Oh,
John.
Yeah, John Dwyer might be stopping
Dwyer,
by.
Yes.
From Band in Boston.
To mention that. Yeah. Tell us about that.
All right. So Robert Kennedy Jr., actress Daryl Hannah, civil rights leader Julian Bond, and dozens of other activists attached themselves to the White House gates on Wednesday, February 13th, in one of the latest attention getting protests against Keystone XL pipeline. Police arrested 48 protesters who notably included Sierra Club president Allison Chin and executive director Michael Brune. That made Wednesday's event the first officially sanctioned act of civil disobedience allowed by the environmental group's 120-year history.
So where were they protesting this?
D.C., in front of the White House.
And where is this XL pipeline going to be placed?
I believe...
Does anyone know?
It's like Trans-Canada...
Does anyone even protest and know? Because I don't know. Like, this is what... Like, I want to know, like, Patrick Kennedy, dude. Which one? No, JFK Jr. Who was it? Which one? Was it the one that's...
Robert Kennedy Jr.
Robert Kennedy Jr. Will you come down to Plymouth and go up to Seabrook and protest these nuke plants? I want these nuke plants shut down. MIT has one. I want that fucking out of there. I live right next to it. Please help Boston, Cambridge. I don't know what the fuck I don't know where the XL pipeline is.
I'm not too sure either. I think I know it runs down from Canada. I think it might be the one that runs into the Texas refineries from Canada.
I'm not worried about Canada and Texas. I'm worried about Boston.
I think it's
Get these nuke plants. The East Coast has too many nuke plants.
I think it's the extension from the Trans-Canada pipeline to the Texas refineries. But John would actually he's actually pretty well informed on it. I didn't do my homework in this respect.
Well, we'll talk more about it. I mean, this is a big thing. I've noticed that people are going crazy. They got a lot of people in Washington. There's a movement against this XL
Tens of
pipeline.
Thousands.
I don't want to joke about it too much, but I mean, I just wish that they were more comprehensive. It seems like they're playing political games for certain causes and not looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like, nuclear is terrible. I'm scared of nuclear. The long-lasting effects. It's just like, look at Fukushima. Now we have they just came out in Seattle. They have this ridiculous radioactive waste thing going on that's leaking into it's really bad. Like fucking. This has been being covered up by the military of the United States. Like, we have so much fucking nuclear waste here we don't know what to do with. It's staying in the places that it's at. They're never going to move the fucking waste out of Seabrook and Plymouth. We're going to be stuck with that shit forever.
Jammed under a mountain in Nevada.
No. Nevada don't want it, and no city or town in the fucking route of traveling wants it either.
Yeah.
So we're stuck with it. And this is what we're dealing with. And this is... people need to wake the fuck up. Like, nuclear, I know coal and oil and gas are not good either, but come on, nuclear.
Yeah, they have. We've even been importing nuclear waste from other countries and basically selling storage space for it. And it's like you said, it's like this nuclear waste. Once it's in a waste phase, you can't do anything with it. You can't store it, and you can't decontaminate it.
You just hope it doesn't leak. And who's going to run that forever?
The best you can do is store it in like a steel container wrapped in lead and concrete and hope that it doesn't leak.
And
which
when it does,
and
eventually it does. And the thing is, like, who cleans it up? Who takes care of it? Who insures it? Who indebts it? When you have private corporations that are running it right now, and they're making all their mass profits, but then when it's time to shut down and there's no more money to be made in that plant, they want to get rid of them. They don't want to deal with it. There's a lot of fraud that goes on. There's going to be bankruptcies. Who's going to end up cleaning up these messes and running them and watching the holes for hundreds and hundreds of years? And it's going to be us and the government.
This is a continued theme with like privatization. Is like you have a short-term contract to get something done, and then once that contract is done, who's left holding the bag?
We are.
Like the taxpayer. The state, state services that have been cut in order to accommodate private contracts.
Yep.
So it's definitely an important question. But while we're on the subject of KXL and climate change, Forward on Climate helped facilitate a weekend of events last week. The 2-day throwdown culminated on a march and a climate assembly on the second day. We'll be hearing from John Dwyer a little later in the show about his participation in the march and a post-mortem on its effectiveness. Climate isn't the only thing that's changing around here. John Kerry confirmed as Secretary of State there's a race for the U.S. Senate seat for the third consecutive year in special elections in Massachusetts. Massachusetts Republican Gabriel Gomez takes out U.S. Senate nomination papers, and this is via masslive.com. Another Republican appears to be nearing decision about jumping the Massachusetts special U.S. Senate election. William Galvin's office confirmed that a representative from Cohasset businessman Gabriel Gomez requested nomination papers on Monday. Gomez, a former Navy SEAL and newcomer to state politics, hasn't returned phone calls seeking a comment on a possible run for Senate seat left vacant by John Kerry's resignation to become Secretary of State. Republican State Rep Daniel Winslow became the first Republican to announce his candidacy last week. Many high-profile Bay State Republicans, including former U.S. Senate Scott Brown and former Governor William Weld, have declined to run. On the Democratic side, we have Reps Edward Markey and Stephen Lynch still running the special election in June 25. The primary is held April 30th.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. More elections.
Yeah, not much. I don't know. I'm not impressed by any of those four. Like, the most impressive is Stephen Lynch, and I hate him on his marijuana, even though we had a pretty cool conversation on WBZ together about it. He just, man, you know what I mean?
I mean, the only thing that I see that Ed Markey's got going for him right now is his his report on the impact of looming across-the-board cuts on Massachusetts and his plan to avoid sequestration.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, so if sequestration goes into effect, if Congress doesn't reach some kind of agreement...
I don't give a shit about that political...
No, if they don't reach some kind of agreement by March 1st... there's a chance for 60,000 jobs in Massachusetts to be at risk.
On what?
We're looking at cuts in, where is it? National Institute of Health, Lee Heap, which provides heat for low-income housing and old people. And then also Title I education funding, which is specifically veterans.
You can't buy my vote.
But will the TSA get a funding cut?
I know, and that's the thing. Like with Ed Markey, have you ever read his fucking bills? The one that woke me up on Ed Markey was when John Cunningham ran against him, and Frank Capone said, and John Cunningham said to me, this is when I first met Frank. These guys were running. Frank was working on his campaign, and John was running as a Republican against Ed Markey, and they came to the Freedom Rally and spoke. They came and did the whole thing. And he said, read the bill. And he showed me just one bill, the energy bill. And just looking at that bill and going through it, that's when I knew I could never support Ed Markey.
Yeah. Well, Progressive Massachusetts is endorsing Congressman Ed Markey.
He's the one who's been killing the jobs. You can't do business unless you're in the cartel when you have a bill that's fucking 1,000 pages long that you have to have a team of people to even figure out what it means.
Fair enough. So, in protests, there was a rally for internet privacy, which was World Privacy Day on the Massachusetts State House steps this afternoon. We had representatives from Massachusetts Pirate Party. The rally was followed by a crypto party, the second such event in recent months. The events are held to crowdsource information on internet privacy and security with a variety of seminars on encryption, communication, and web design, to name a few. So, I believe Garrett is going to be speaking later in the show about that event.
Yeah, why don't we speak to him now about it? Garrett, say...
sure. It was, it wasn't just the Pirates. I believe Anonymous is the movement, that spearheaded, put out the call to action on this. It may have been the Pirates, I'm not sure. But, like I say, International Day of Privacy, actually, I think it even has its origin in Germany. Might even be with the German Pirate Party. So, one of those two. Irregardless, we were out there, talking about Fourth Amendment, talking about crazy police state things like Trapwire and Index.
Trapwire.
These
I love talking about
complicated technological nightmares that literally can track you from your job to your home to the place you go to play. Like, all automated, giant fusion. It's insane. It's surreal.
And that's just it, like Trapwire. Like, that whole thing with Barrett Brown, Trapwire. Like, we need to make that the biggest meme ever. Trapwire is just... It explains exactly to everyone where this whole thing is going. It's not like, you know, a lot of times Alex Jones, that type of mentality, the thing that bothers me is it's too over the top. And when you really look at it, what they're going to do, it's just like they did with financial services in a lot of respect, is they make you fill out all this. They have everything on you, but they never look at it until they have an issue with you. So they'll have all the tapes on everything. This is just the beginning of it, obviously, but I mean, they'll have everything on video. They'll have everything at any time they can bring anything up.
Not just video. I mean, this is your emails, your communications over any digital network. That's voice, anything. That's text, that's whatever.
If your T-Pass is connected to your bank account, the RFID is tracked.
Yep. Oh yeah,
it's ridiculous.
The level of sophistication in the surveillance state is really alarming.
And there's also there's a bill up now about advanced license plate recognition software.
That's all hooked up. A lot of it's linked now too.
And also there's
no oversight on those records and all that.
Also, the revision of terms and services for wireless bills in Massachusetts, for wireless providers in Massachusetts.
They can basically have you arrested for breaking terms of service now too, right?
Well, the terms that's just it. Is I haven't looked into the bill, but the adjustment of terms and services could mean that they're allowing for warrantless wiretapping as a part of your terms of service. There you go.
So the corporations sell you out to the government for political favor, kickbacks, money, favoritism, prestige.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah. There is one thing I do
selling you out. Bitches, what are you going to do about it?
One thing that I do want to promote that's tied in with today's IDP 13, the International Day of Privacy, there's a project called Documenting Dystopia. It's documentingdystopia.org. It is being put together and run by someone named Seek Veracity, who is one of the anonymous guys. Basically, what this project is that they are documenting and GPS locating every single surveillance camera they can. They have an open source database where you just report any surveillance cameras in your communities or wherever they are.
I'm putting mine in. I got a few that I don't like.
And the idea behind this is that, this technology is here. I mean, we have to be realistic about one thing. We're not going to be able to get the cameras off our streets. It's not going to happen. What we can do as a response is we can open this to the public. We can make these surveillance tools completely transparent. That's it. Completely accessible by the public. So not only are they watching us, but we are also watching ourselves. We are watching them.
That's the thing that bugs me. It's like they have all these private corporation cameras everywhere, and you don't really know who gets access to them, where they go, and all this stuff that we're talking about. We're realizing the government is getting all of this, compiling it all, and funding it secretly through front corporations. This is what Trapwire shows. Trapwire. Barrett Brown was onto it. Anonymous got this information. This shit's really... Then there was the Bradley Manning thing, too. There was another rally. There was two rallies that kind of came together, and they were both awesome. I'm glad you brought up those that other gentleman that was there.
Yeah, I just want to plug the site one more time, documentingdystopia.org, and I am going to throw a link up on the HOTHEADS Facebook page,
awesome.
Obviously.
I saw him speak. He was very good.
Really
good speakers that were these guys were telling it. They were bringing it. They were bringing up Trapwire. I was like, holy fuck. They were talking about Black Bloc. I was kind of lost there, but I still support it because I know what he means. I almost wanted to say to him, you don't, oh, I think I just killed that for you. I'm sorry. But, on the Trapwire, it's on the Black Bloc, excuse me, it's more people have a right to decide for themselves, and education is the key, and to have that as an option to be anonymous or even have a surname in this surveillance state should always be an option for people, and it should never be something people should have to be embarrassed for. It should never be something they should be ashamed of or put down for. I've always put down for using my Cann when my real name is Mike Crawford. I mean, it's it's ridiculous.
Anonymity in protests
has
very, very deep roots, not only here in the United States but internationally.
Especially for employment. Sometimes, this is the thing that's often employment is really they do job when they see your name. A lot of jobs, they're going to exclude you for your political beliefs. And that's just not that's a reason why a lot of people want to use.
It fucks with the office dynamic.
Yeah.
That's really the thing is the reprisal is why a lot of people, choose to mask their identity.
It's not about harassing or stalking people or not doing things with a name attached because Like I like when I was using my Cann, people had to recognize that name means more to me than my real name.
Yeah, names have power.
I earned that name.
Yeah, you did.
And it has a level of respect and history and power. And it's like, I that name means a lot to me. So that's what should count. Like, you know, like I'm with those guys today. That was cool. Oh, so tell us about the other part of the rally too down there.
So as we were, assembling for our, running our mouth up at Beacon Hill, there was also a Bradley Manning protest to commemorate what I believe is his 1,000th day in prison without a trial.
Yeah, which is fucking shocking.
Which, there's a lot of different angles. Personally, I have a couple mixed feelings in a couple instances on that case. But I must say that this man has been held without a trial for 1,000 days.
It's like over
in the military, you may
years.
cede some of your rights to free speech, and you may have signed agreements not to disclose certain things, and we may or may not agree with that. But at the end of the day, he's been in prison for 1,000 days without a trial.
Yeah,
get a trial now.
Just get it over with.
And the thing is, like, how the fuck do you? I don't know. These guys down there today, the United for Justice. No, what were they?
There was the
Veterans for Peace.
The Veterans for Peace were out there, yeah.
They were saying that you're only supposed to be held for like 100 and something days, and he's been held like 1,000. Like that's just why for him? Why is everything different? He didn't kill anybody.
Well, what's different for him is that he did something that is I guess bad. So he
committed treason under the law of the United States.
He did. In fact, he did.
As being a whistleblower, which should actually be protected. There are laws that protect whistleblowers.
There are laws to protect whistleblowers, but there aren't laws to protect people who release diplomatic cables that are dealing with active missions overseas, which put people at risk.
And the other thing is he's involved with intelligence in the military. So, he's signed multiple contracts saying he would not disclose these kind of information unless it's been approved. So, while he's heroic, because in my mind, I imagine there's no way he didn't realize what was going to happen to him.
But sometimes that's it. Exactly.
But
sometimes
he was compelled.
Your life experience, exactly. Your life experience, you make a turning point. This is what happens to people.
He's a martyr. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he broke the law.
I know.
If it was to be a martyr, regardless, he is a martyr.
I know.
So
and that's why we're rallying for him. That's why we want him out of jail. Let's get him out.
Like, on trial. Just put him on trial.
Bang on the. They were fighting today. They said next Monday they got to get him out on this on the I forget what you call it, but it's like when you throw out the motion.
They're trying to dismiss it.
Dismiss the charges. Is it going to happen or it ain't? And they say it probably ain't going to happen. Get dismissed. He's probably going to get fucked and go away for a long time. And this is our last chance. Like we need to friggin'. People need to get pissed off. Seriously. Aaron Swartz is dead. Aaron Swartz. I keep saying the guy's name wrong. Aaron Swartz is dead. Barrett Brown is going to be dead. Friggin' Bradley Manning is going to be dead. Why do we do this? Why are we letting our federal government? Why aren't people pissed off?
Because they're too busy watching Honey Boo Boo or whatever the fuck it
them.
Is. But it's
fucking pussies.
So what they're
even the people listen to our show, like you fucking even you guys do more.
Do more.
It's not just about weed either. Jesus, we do weed, but fucking people need to fucking really get pissed off.
Oh, we do weed.
We've been smoking the weed today.
As a point of clarification, this week, I believe it's on Wednesday, there's a motion to dismiss on the grounds that he's been held too long without a trial. Just for a supporting detail there. But yeah, give the guy a damn trial.
Yeah, and on that note of getting involved, myself and my friend who's a paralegal are actually working on a project together to go over all of the Senate bills and all of the House proposals that are in and just take a look at them and see what's up and find out what's fishy. Like looking at Bruce Tarr's wiretapping bill.
You're really worried about Bruce Tarr.
Bruce Tarr, that guy is a sneaky bastard, man. He's got a 3 strikes bill in. Integration of federal law enforcement.
He doesn't like marijuana
police,
either, does he?
Enhanced recognition system for license
He doesn't like marijuana either.
Establishing probable causes an act of protecting the public from driving under the influence of marijuana.
Oh. Raising the age too on marijuana, right? Decrum, yeah.
Act removing impediments to corporate growth. An act to promote private sector job changes. The minimum bid is going from $500K to $3 million on private sector bids.
What?
So that eliminates small businesses.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, it's the act. It's absolutely ridiculous. The shit that's coming through the Senate and through the House this year.
I hope it doesn't pass to him. But let's talk about Bruce Tarr, because, like you were saying earlier, we were talking, like, he labels himself as progressive and going after the minority vote and being caring. But at the same time, actions speak louder than words. And, like, I see him posing with Leah Cole running for the Liberty. She's the Liberty Leah that Brad Wyatt, our friend.
Yep.
For, Liberty Clubhouse in Worcester, Mass. That's on all the Liberty events. Ron Paul. They're all hooked up, Ron Paul. That type of movement that we support, that we've been into. They're promoting her in Peabody. We've been trying to get her on our show. No response back. She actually, liked one of my tweets one time, but that's about her. But, like, we're trying to get her on the show. We're not hearing back. She's posing with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this is
I don't know, man.
I'm just like, dude, how do you play this? Like, as far as I see, Bruce Tarr, I would never support him.
Yeah.
For Republican.
Well, okay, so here's a great one. S923, an act protecting minors from the harmful effects of medical marijuana, or from marijuana. Here's the great thing. Okay, they want to raise the legal age to 21. First offense is a $100 fine, confiscation if it's under an ounce. Second offense is $250 with the option, in either case, the option of arrest and the loss of their driver's license.
That's taking away decrim. That's going back to what it used
that's
to be.
taking away decriminalization if you're under the age of 21.
It's ridiculous.
That's
Can we
bad.
get like some age limits on like prescription drugs? Like nobody under the age of 45 can take a prescription
Like
drug.
this guy is building a war chest.
No, how about the people who are
Like, it's absolutely
how about the people
ridiculous.
who are 65 can't take any drugs?
Right? If you're over
I think
65,
that will change it.
no dice.
No dice. You're done. I think these assholes, all of a sudden, Bruce Tarr might fucking change his mind.
So, like, the smell of marijuana in a car would be, according to S823, would be probable cause for a search and seizure. Like, this is just like scratching the surface.
Fuck.
I just started looking into this like 4 hours ago.
I've been telling people I've had it. I've just fucking had it, and like I'm even swearing now. We're the respectable show that is on the edge and love our culture and love our politics. And man, I have had it. Bruce Tarr, I'm going to war with you now. You're right. You're right.
I'm
Casey.
telling you, man. He's building a war chest. He's going to be within 2 years. He's going to run for Congress, or he's going to be running for the governor's office, or he's going for the executive branch. I'm telling you, man. This guy is like he's got fucking rocket boosters attached to his asshole.
I've met him. I know him. He's like,
ouch.
Been here for a while. Wow. All right, Casey.
That definitely sounds like something.
You could see this show is taking off on the fucking details. You keep. All right. What else?
I got more.
What else do we have this week?
All
We
right,
have more news stories. Medical,
so
right?
This is the cannabis report.
Yeah, we got a big cannabis.
We're keeping track of all of the towns that have either banned cannabis dispensaries by zoning laws and restrictions or have made some kind of restriction. The following towns have banned dispensaries or created zoning restrictions. It's Lynn, Wakefield, Peabody, Melrose, Reading, and Saugus. These are the municipalities attempting to ban or craft zoning restrictions for dispensaries. Brookline, Cambridge, Danvers, Hudson, Malden, Needham, Burlington, and Stoughton. As of December, Quincy was on that list. Haven't heard any noise from it since.
You don't think Cambridge is going to have one? Come on, Cambridge. We're gonna. I'm going to come back to Cambridge because I'm going to have to stop working. This is my city. We did it with decrim. Man, it don't matter.
On doing this research,
I don't even care about dispensaries at this point.
The observation that I brought to you was that the counties that were banning dispensaries were actually Middlesex, Essex, and Norfolk.
Yeah, it's true.
And you mentioned what? You said something about.
Well, it's more like the suburbs, and like it does. Our vote does better, surprisingly, in the country in a lot of respects, in the more affluent areas, and especially in the cities.
Yeah, but District 2 has been
District 2 where?
Here in Boston.
Yeah, what about it? Is that right, Roxbury maybe?
No, not Roxbury. South Boston.
No, that's a black area. A lot of times there's a Christian black, even Latin. Sometimes in Lawrence doesn't do quite as well in certain areas. But so it's an anomaly. It's for the most part when you're in a certain type of city area or the rural, we actually do really well. A lot of times we're not doing as good in that suburb area where it just first time you're most likely not to vote for a marijuana question if you're 30 years old and you've had your first child.
Makes sense.
After you're 40 or 50 and you've had a couple kids and your kids are grown, you no longer feel
You're just
that
like,
way.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we shouldn't have busted the kid, you know, at that point.
Well, on that note, the final session for hearings of concerns for citizens in the area is going to be held on February 27th in Holyoke. You can get more information on that from Boston.com. There were also 2 stories in the Phoenix in the last 2 weeks. One by Ariel Shearer this last week called Listening to Medical Marijuana. That you'd actually mentioned there was a pretty good quote out of it. And then... Yeah,
I actually had my computer up, and then I put it down, shut it down, because it was making a lot of noise. And then I forgot to bring it back up. So
sorry, I didn't mean to hang you out to dry on that one.
Basically, the story was Ariel Shearer was covering the medical marijuana hearings, listening sessions, and talking about some of the testimony and different sides of it. And one of the most interesting things was right off the bat is she got the governor, Deval Patrick, who's really his last, like, for a long time he's been on the radio, and when we've questioned him and had other people question him on medical, he's been really kind of dismissive. And except for a couple occasions with Marcy Duda, and it was on Channel 27, and she's a really good advocate that I'm friends with, and she really got to him, and he kind of turned. But we weren't sure. Then he said some bad things against us, kind of, and then I got him on WBZ radio, and he was pretty good. He was quoting William F. Buckley on, like, it looked like he was supporting legalization, and it was a big change for him. And then this quote from her makes it seem like he's like Tom Menino now.
Yeah.
Tom Menino's done and said the same thing for the patients, for this vote. We're going to honor it, and we're going to enact it professionally.
Yep.
And
the city's been pretty stellar about it so far.
Governor Deval, that was like, I was happy to see that in the Phoenix. I think Ariel Shearer, good quote. You fucking rock for getting that.
Yeah.
And good for you, Governor Deval Patrick, and good for Tom Menino too.
Yep.
Because he's been supporting it
Mumbles.
too. Yep.
So on the Phoenix note,
there are some good Democrats.
Tax it all
marijuana.
in mumbles. Doing it together.
Yeah. Maybe he can benefit. Like, I'm thinking, like, Tommy, I'm doing medical marijuana patient things. I'm offering. This is my Cann. Tom Menino, you've had a lot of medical issues. We know it. You want to be mayor another term. I know you do. Everyone knows you do. Everyone wants you to be the mayor again. Even though not all of us even agree on all the things that you've done.
I don't want him to be mayor again.
He's going to win if he wants it. I know you don't. But I would if Tom Menino would do one thing. You know what that one thing would be?
Does it have to do with your exciting news?
Yeah. Have we talked about that yet?
We haven't talked about your exciting news.
Oh my God. We have, I basically decided over the last couple of weeks, like, Valerie Vanderpin did that story. That's the next thing.
So
right?
the Boston Phoenix Got a Connection was the title of the story.
Awesome story, and we talked about it, I think, last week too. And I was quoted in there, and she was asking me questions. And she's been asking these questions for a few months, trying to really help out patients with this new law and what it means, and how can people get access? How can people with no money, especially patients that we know have no money, get access? How can they not get screwed? Who are the people to go to? And the answers weren't quite there. And now, like, I'm doing it. I've already been doing it. So basically, I'm offering my services to the community for mass medical marijuana. If you need a caregiver, if you need to learn how to grow and what that entails, you do a consultation. We're going to sit down. I want to sit down with you and figure out what is right for your situation. And whether that's, talking about the strains, your illness, getting a recommendation for a doctor. I have it all. I have the whole experts ready to go. I'm helping people, and I like doing it. And so people can contact me, and it was inspired off of that story. Because she was asking the question, where do people with no money go?
And it's a genuine frustration from people who are looking not only for themselves, but for information. You know what I mean? Even somebody who just wants to be informed.
And love. And support, and like the people have all these different questions.
Yeah,
like you don't, you know what I mean. And it's just they just want someone to answer.
And
that
you're not pushing a party line.
No, I have the best people to work with for the lowest prices for the love of it. That are all professionals. It's like, wow, this just came together.
Yep.
And there's not like I'm not gonna like you'll see. I mean, mostly what it entails is me working for people for free, and what I already do, and I just want to do more of it and getting more publicity and press for it. So what? You know what I mean?
Why not?
Maybe I'll make a little bit of contribution every once in a while when someone has money that I'm helping. That's it, you know. But this is what I want to do, and yeah. So if anyone needs help getting a doctor, a recommendation, medicine.
I mean, it could be kind of overwhelming, you know, like, where do you start?
You want to know the
Like,
laws.
You're sitting there and you have some kind of debilitating, you know, disease or neurological issues or whatever it may be, but, like, all right, well, where do I start? You know, do I go to my own doctor? Like, you're kind of afraid, you know? Awesome. People like this, what you're doing, that's awesome.
Brownies to BHO to this to that. You know, what are these things? What are the benefits? What are the negatives? How does smoke? What, you know, all the safety.
Yep.
There's so much. I got it all. And I can help people.
This is an industry that's been, like, bubbling to the surface for the past, like, 25 years, like, coming into legitimacy.
Yep.
So now that it's actually legitimate under the auspices of the law, a lot of people have a lot of catching up to do, and there's a lot of, like, mythos to get through, and a lot of this sort of, no pun intended, smoke and mirrors. But, I mean, now's the time to kind of break those boundaries and really get clinical about it, because nobody's going to take it serious from a science perspective until we do.
Michael C _100 at hotmail.com. You can find the address on mycann.net on that. Yeah, I think Valerie's coming in next week too.
Dig it.
She's got a new story on BHO. I think it might be negative against BHO in the Phoenix next week. You know about BHO?
I do.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I mean, okay, so
Quickly.
BHO, butane hash oil extraction. If you're doing a butane extraction, I'm not down for it personally, because I don't know how clean the butane is. I don't know how well you've leached it out of the substance. I don't know how you've done it. Like, your safety's involved with it. It's a fucking nightmare. You can do cold water extractions that don't involve butane. You can do tinctures. You can do all of these things that don't involve this dangerous
this
chemical
is what
process.
I say to that. I say, let's do it without butane. Thank you.
Yeah, like
I don't like it.
Like BHO, like I don't know, man. Like I've had cold water extractions and I've had BHO. Personally, I prefer cold water. Like,
and especially for those meth heads out there, like, there are people like that lady that died from drinking like 10 gallons of Coke a day. You see that one? I mean, you just don't want to add that substance that will just fucking kill that person that just fucking can't get enough. You know what I mean? It's just true. Like, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'm interested in hearing what people think about BHO.
yeah,
Truly, I mean,
we'll take a
like you said, you don't even know what you're
poll.
getting. Like, how much? Oh god! If it tastes different, if it's not like, you can taste it, even though they say it's tasteless.
I don't know. I've never tasted butane on a BHO.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, I just it's
interesting.
that is another slippery slope.
Yeah, I think we're running late though. We're supposed to be on the phone with Diane Russell now. We're going way over.
Word.
But
Well, I
that's
got a dip.
I know. We gotta go. Anything else that we're gonna get into?
I mean, that's all the news that I got.
That is the news with Casey Hoye every week on regular radio. Call in too, 617-606-3700. I have to squint. What's going on? Oh, you what? What?
Take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, we're taking a 5-minute break. We're two hotheads where activism happens. We're in the studio. We're going to try to get Diane on the phone. If not, we'll be back. We got so much stuff to cover this week. Keep listening. Unregularradio.com.
Uncensored. Unregular Radio.